everybody. So I always do these after videos when we get a new character revealed or some other big Smash news or something, just to sort of reassess where Smash speculation is at. I know this video is taking a little longer than usual. It's been well over a week since Nintendo's E3 and the reveal of Kazuya as Challenger Pack 10. Some of the things I want to talk about in this video have come to light more recently, so maybe it's best that this one took a little longer than usual. And the Sakurai presentation for Kazuya is scheduled for the 28th, so we still have a little more time before the presentation. And we get a full look at Kazuya in Smash, and we get even more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate information. Kazuya's reveal trailer was really great. I loved him throwing all the characters off the cliff. My favorite part, though, was hearing the Tekken announcer voice. I'm actually hoping they use that voice for either Kazuya's victory screen, or maybe even something unique to him, like when you select him, you get the Tekken announcer voice instead of the Smash announcer. We got this hilarious artwork of Kazuya holding up Ryu with all the other Smash characters looking on in horror, and here is Kazuya on the Smash banner. Also, in case anyone is wondering, yes, Kazuya does fit for figure theory. Actually, both of Kazuya's outfits that we know about fit the figure theory. I'm sure we're going to see other alt costumes for him at the Sakurai Presents. I keep calling him Kazuya, and I'm pretty sure that's the right way to say his name, though sometimes I hear people say it with a long oo, like Banjo and Kazuya. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference anyway. It's just sort of where you emphasize that, whether you say it quick or not, Kazuya or Kazuya, so whatever. Regardless, getting Kazuya in Smash once again elevates Smash to a whole new level of crossover game. It's basically out-crossovered all the other fighting game crossovers. We have more fighting games in Smash crossing over with each other than I think any other fighting game does. Also, once again, with a new Smash character added, the Smash website has glitched, and there's an extra question mark spot that happened for like a few hours when Kazuya was first added, before it was updated to only have a single question mark spot left for Challenger Pack 11. While I do think there can be a healthy debate over the possibility of an extra fighter maybe happening or something, if we all keep our expectations in check, of course, I do not think the extra question mark spot on the website is any indication of an extra fighter, but rather simply a website glitch where adding a new fighter doesn't remove the amount of question mark spots on the site immediately. This has happened every single time. Speaking of the official Super Smash Bros. Website, a few people have pointed out to me that on the UK Smash website it says Smash Bros. X Kazuya rather than Smash Bros. X Tekken. So this was similar to M Theory, where maybe because of something to do with Tekken's rating in the UK, they didn't display the series title on the site. However, the UK website simply doesn't display series titles at all, so Tekken wasn't unique in this regard, though this was the first time I've had people actually notice it and point it out to me. Also, for people wondering, no, Tekken is not an M-rated game series, though it is generally seen as somewhat mature. It's been rated teen consistently as far as I'm aware, though. M Theory was the theory that potentially getting a Pass 2 character from a game that was rated mature by the ESRB in North America, and that might be why they had occasionally been censoring the game titles in the North American character reveals. However, we came to the conclusion it was more likely simply so that when showing both passes together, there'd be consistency showing the game titles, or not showing the game titles, rather. Also, censoring the Smash X series title has changed around a bit with the last few fighters. Sephiroth's reveal trailer initially said Smash X Final Fantasy in North America, while it said Smash X Final Fantasy VII in the Japanese reveal. But then later they apparently re-uploaded the Sephiroth reveal trailer, and it now said Smash X Final Fantasy VII in the North American trailer. Pyra and Mithra's reveal said Smash X Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but had the added note at the bottom that the game was rated teen by the ESRB. And now upon revealing Kazuya for Smash in North America, it says Smash X Tekken, but again with that same note about Tekken being rated teen by the ESRB. So if you're still holding out hope that the final character must be from a mature rated game now that we've gone through the entire second pass without one happening, I would suggest reassessing that train of thought. While it's possible that could still happen, I think it's equally possible this has simply been some weird ESRB ruling stuff that's shifted around over time, and I wouldn't count on it giving us any hints for the final fighter. Some people have asked how I feel about Kazuya getting in Smash, and overall, I think Kazuya is a great choice for Smash. I've been a fan of the Tekken series for a long time. I played a ton of Tekken 2, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Tekken 3 with my brother back in the day. And other than Super Smash Bros., fighting games I actually play the most are probably the Bandai Namco ones, specifically Tekken and Soul Calibur, which I've always considered to be somewhat connected series anyway. And I'm very excited to see Bandai Namco finally get a second rep as they work on Smash Ultimate itself, and they've deserved a second spot beyond Pac-Man for a long, long time. Frankly, this is very overdue. I actually did a video a long time ago where me and my brother talked about which Bandai Namco characters we'd like to see get into Smash, as Namco getting a second spot seemed pretty likely to happen before Ultimate's DLC was over. And we both had agreed that the most likely Namco series to get a rep in Smash would be Tekken, although Heihachi seemed to be the obvious frontrunner for that spot. And that said, Kazuya wouldn't have been my first choice for a Tekken rep. He's not exactly my favorite character. Though neither would Heihachi, to be honest. I'd have wanted Yoshimitsu for that double Tekken Soul Calibur representation. And to celebrate that connection with Link crossing over in Soul Calibur 2. But oh well, I suppose Kazuya has connections to Link as well. And at least I won't have to deal with Eddie Gordo spamming stuff in Smash. Kazuya being the main character of the original Tekken and a Mishima, he works perfectly well as a good Tekken rep, so yeah, I'm happy with his character. Anyway, while there was a time getting a Tekken rep as DLC seemed incredibly likely, the series had completely fallen off my radar, and basically the radar of the entire Smash speculation scene, it seemed like, in recent times. A second Bandai Namco rep still seemed very likely, of course. In fact, my lead up to E3 video, I started that one off talking about the possibility of getting a Bandai Namco character revealed at E3. This was because Nintendo and Namco had their E3 events scheduled for the same day, and so I suggested it was possible something like a Tales of rep, or a Soul Calibur rep, or even a Dark Souls rep could be what we'd get. So why was I predicting we could get characters from those series when my old video about potential Namco reps, I had concluded Tekken was the most likely Namco series to get a character? Why didn't I mention Tekken at all there? Well, that's entirely because of the Heihachi Mii costume. So throughout this second pass, we've slowly been getting our missing third-party Smash 4 Mii costumes back. Geno, the Monster Hunter Miis, Chocobo Mii, Gil, we've gotten them all back. So it seemed logical that if a Tekken rep was happening, they'd have saved the Heihachi Mii costume to return alongside that fighter. But here we are, they didn't save the Mii. Oddly enough, the Lloyd Mii costume is the final third-party Smash 4 Mii costume we haven't gotten to return. So it seemed more likely Tales of might have a character in the works, and Tekken was out of the running since Heihachi's had already come back. But again, here we are, we got a Tekken character. We were totally bamboozled. Now, I know people are going to argue against me saying this next part, but I truly think we were purposely misled here. Now, we will see what Sakurai has to say about it, or if he even mentions the Heihachi Mii costume. He did mention and explain the odd placement of the Capcom Miis with Pyra and Mithra, so I could see him addressing Heihachi's Mii. But whatever Sakurai says, or doesn't say about it, I truly believe Heihachi's Mii costume was brought back early to throw speculators off the trail of Tekken, and to stop people from expecting a Tekken rep, so that when we got one, it would truly be a surprise. Again, I know a lot of people will laugh at this concept and say Sakurai and the Smash team, they don't think that much about Smash speculation or trying to throw us off their trail, but they certainly do seem to care about the reveals being a surprise. And just picture the alternative scenario. Had they not given us the Heihachi Mii costume back, and the Heihachi Mii costume had been the last missing third-party Smash 4 Mii costume, nearly everyone would have been predicting a Tekken rep as one of our final two characters. While Kazuya over Heihachi would have still probably been surprising, I think in that scenario, with Heihachi's Mii being the last missing one, a Tekken rep itself would have been like the most obvious Smash character out of the entire DLC had it gone down that way. Instead, because Heihachi's Mii returned at the start of the pass, this reveal became one of the most surprising and unexpected DLC fighters that we've gotten. Now, whether or not Sakurai mentions anything about releasing the Heihachi Mii early with Min Min in order to conceal a Tekken character from us, I do hope Sakurai addresses why Kazuya was chosen instead of Heihachi. Heihachi seemed to be the frontrunner when talking about potential Tekken characters for Smash. But Heihachi seems to instead be relegated to the background of the Tekken stage, the Mishima Dojo. I wonder if the Kazumi Heihachi carving will be in the floor. Knowing Sakurai, that extra little detail will probably be there. I'd also love to see other Tekken characters show up on the stage in the background, like how Terry's stage has tons of SNK characters, but I think this will likely be exclusively Heihachi considering what the stage itself is. The stage appears to be totally enclosed, but the walls also seem to be able to be broken, which will be a very interesting stage mechanic. Again, harkening back to Terry's stage, only this time even the ceiling seems to be enclosed. So at least for the beginning of the match, this is going to probably feel a lot like playing a Tekken fight. Also, with Terry in mind, I can't wait to see what Tekken music they get in Smash. I imagine it could be a lot of music tracks, since Namco literally works on Smash itself. Considering how already Pac-Man's taunts represent tons of Namco series, in a similar fashion to all the different SNK game series that are represented on Terry's stage, most other companies like Sega, Konami, Capcom, Square, etc. probably would need individual deals and negotiations for each of these separate franchises the company owns to show up in Smash in any form. However, getting a Namco rep is basically like getting an in-house first-party character, since Namco works on the game. So we might see a lot from Namco here. We could see a lot of Tekken representation. Also, this being essentially an in-house series honestly probably helped to keep this one from leaking. While Kazuya is the original main character of the series, technically, Heihachi has been the more recognized face of the series, especially when it comes to repping Tekken in crossover-type games. While any of the main three Mishima characters, Heihachi, Kazuya, or Jin, would make sense to represent Tekken, most seem to agree Heihachi was the most likely to be our Smash rep. So far in the Smash Bros. Series, the Heihachi Mii costume in Smash 4 and Pac-Man's Heihachi taunt in Smash Ultimate have been the Tekken representation in the game, before us getting Kazuya. And of course, Sakurai had mentioned wanting Heihachi specifically as a Smash fighter before too, so yeah, Heihachi really felt like the frontrunner. Here's the translated article by Source Gaming, where Sakurai talks about getting Tekken in Smash 4. You might call him a hybrid, but he's not just Pac-Man. I think he ended up also representing all of the great parts of Namco as well. Between Bandai and Namco, were there any other strong candidates for inclusion as a fighter? There were none. We basically thought all the characters at the start of development. We decided on characters we knew we could make. However, there were a few in consideration, such as Heihachi from Tekken. Heihachi? That's right. However, implementing Heihachi's movement in Smash would be difficult. It reminds me of the reaction when Snake was from Metal Gear was announced. We'll never top the shock of that reveal, but it all depends on the presentation. People were extremely excited when Mega Man was revealed. If Heihachi was included, I start to imagine that one of his pellet swaps would have been him in his Fundoshi. If we did that, we'd end up getting in trouble with Zero again. So Heihachi was once considered, which, like seemingly all of Past 2, makes Kazuya once again a part of the characters that kind of almost happened for Smash Bros. In the past. So with this being a consistent pattern throughout Fighter Pass 2, I strongly suggest when speculating Challenger Pack 11, we consider characters Sakurai has mentioned almost getting into Smash Bros. In the past. And I'll go over some of those a bit later in this video. The other really interesting thing to note about what Sakurai said in this article is that he specifically says implementing Heihachi's movement in Smash would have been difficult. Sakurai seems dead set on representing fighting games correctly in Smash. Every time we get a character from a fighting game series, as a Smash rep, it's less likely they get a brand new Smash moveset, and more like Sakurai tries his best to actually port the playstyle of the original fighting game into Super Smash Bros., implementing as many mechanics as possible while making it all seamlessly work for Smash. Because of this, fighting game characters getting into Smash seem to sometimes be considered a little less exciting for some people than seeing a character that's never been in a fighting game before get into Smash. While I totally agree seeing how Sakurai makes a fighting game moveset for a character from, say, something like an RPG or a platformer or something else is always really interesting, I personally think it can be equally cool to see Sakurai try and port an existing fighter from a totally different style fighting game into Smash and how that moveset turns out. So with Sakurai mentioning specifically the movement of Tekken being the hurdle that made Heihachi difficult, it'll be very interesting to see what Sakurai has done with Kazuya to keep that Tekken playstyle intact with the character. We can already see some of the ways this has apparently worked out with the trailer for Kazuya that we already have. Kazuya backs away from opponents, so like Ryu, Ken, and Terry, Kazuya will probably have that auto-turn mechanic where he's always facing his opponent. This alone might have been the movement issue Sakurai was talking about, as walking towards or away and spacing out your opponent is a huge part of Tekken. It would be very strange not to have that as part of a Tekken character's movement. It just wouldn't really feel like Tekken without it. Terry has a forward and backward side special, so I'm curious if Kazuya will have that or not, but I suspect he might. Maybe he could even have something totally unique to the way he fights, like his A and B buttons do similar things to like Min-Min's. Min-Min controls each arm with A and B, but maybe for Kazuya, one button could be for punches, the other one could be for kicks. Probably not, but it's interesting to consider how Sakurai will make a 3D fighting game character from Tekken work in Smash, especially without them being able to shift around three-dimensionally around their opponent. That's totally out the window with Smash, but it's a big part of Tekken. Also, the whole concept of high, mid, and low attacks won't really fit Smash either. Maybe Sakurai has found a way to implement those into Smash as well, though. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Also, we've seen Kazuya do a 10-hit combo, so it seems somehow the hit stun of his attacks and the knockback or lack of knockback of his attacks allow for combo strings that look similar to those in Tekken. One very interesting thing we saw in Kazuya's reveal trailer was this shot where Ken's Hadoken is going through Kazuya's head. Kazuya's head is inside the hitbox. This about to be some grade A BS. C175 wrote, wonder if this is why there was that Ness head glitch with projectiles. So I think they meant the Lucas glitch, but yeah, remember that glitch? We were speculating how it might have to do with some future fighter, where projectiles were going through characters' head hurt boxes. Turns out that might have been for Kazuya. We were guessing at stuff like Reimu or Decidueye, but these glitches, even if they do actually have to do with some future fighter being worked on, can be nearly impossible to guess at the correct fighter without the help of hindsight. Over on Smashboards, Sharklord wrote, so you know all the discussion around the graze glitch in hitboxes and Kazuya's crouch dash? Well, Tekken has a dedicated mechanic for that. This mechanic is called the crush system. And this crush system seems to be a part of Kazuya, where attacks from certain heights don't affect him. Might be the way Sakurai has represented the Tekken fighting game mechanic of having high, mid, and low attacks into Kazuya as a Smash character. Pretty interesting that glitch might have been solved, and it was Kazuya. One other possible issue with a Tekken character's movement in Smash might have been finding a good recovery move for the fighter, especially for someone like Heihachi. This might have also factored into why Kazuya was chosen. Clearly, the Devil Gene is a big part of what we've seen from Kazuya so far, and having a character that can literally grow wings helps a ton with thinking up a decent recovery for that character. As a Yoshimitsu fanboy, I think Yoshimitsu's sword helicopter move would have been the best Tekken recovery move, but I digress. Also on the subject of Devil being a big part of Kazuya's moveset, seems like that could have worked well with Sephiroth's Dark Energy tournament event, but Kazuya was late to the party there, I guess. It looks like Kazuya turns into Devil for some of his Smash attacks, looks like it's the final Smash, and maybe there's some way that you can become Devil for a long time, like some built-up meter or something. I can't wait for Sakurai's presentation, basically. This character looks extremely interesting to play. Anyway, I actually think the most likely reason Kazuya got in over Heihachi might have to do with the fact Heihachi's voice actor died. And sorry for the Tekken 7 spoilers here, Heihachi, the character, was also killed off in Tekken 7. So maybe having Heihachi as the face of the Tekken franchise is something they're trying to move away from in the future. And putting Kazuya in Smash could actually help shift which Mishima invokes the Tekken series to the more casual gamers out there, who may only recognize Tekken through Heihachi. Kazuya in Smash could help push Kazuya as the character people associate with the Tekken series a bit more going forward. Katsuhiro Harada, the producer and director of the Tekken series, has also had some things to say about the Tekken series and Smash before. Considering how Min Min was chosen because the producer of ARMS wanted her specifically, it's definitely worth looking into Harada's history with Smash Bros. And seeing what we can find. There's a rather infamous tweet from Harada about Smash, and here it is. Here's what he said. You guys are a spammer. I talked with Mr. Sakurai and Bandai Namco's Smash development team so that your request will not be approved as much as possible. And muted by at Alberto, at Jonesy for Smash, at Sora for Smash, at Doom Squid Kid, at Put Crash in Smash, at Arl for Smash, at Halo Guy for Smash. Now, kind of hilariously, kind of really unfortunately, none of these characters he's mentioned as his ats have gotten into Super Smash Bros. I do believe Harada is just joking and trolling here a bit, and of course, if a character was happening for Smash, some Twitter spam that annoyed Harada wouldn't cause the character to be removed from the game. That's an absurd concept considering all the companies and deals that would be involved. However, knowing Harada would likely have access to Smash Bros. Information and stuff, it's possible he chose to tag people who he knew supported characters that were not planned to be coming to Smash. Regardless though, with only one fighter left, there's a good chance none of these characters will end up happening in Smash. Whether it's coincidental or not, who knows. But either way, I think this was entirely a joke tweet. A more recent Harada Twitter interaction though, Sakurai and Harada had a back and forth. So this was on the anniversary of Tekken, and Sakurai showed this image of Heihachi dropping Ryu off some cliff. Harada wrote, "It is recommended to drop it at the volcanic crater." Sakurai said, then ... yes, and added a new image of Heihachi dropping Ryu into a volcano. So Sakurai seemingly had another picture ready to go for this, almost like him and Harada were already talking in regards to Smash stuff, so potentially worth being a bit suspicious of any interactions Sakurai has with other game developers when posting these Smash anniversary tweets on Twitter. Lastly, on Harada interactions involving Smash stuff, Games Cage Hype Guy wrote, fun fact, by the way, I actually asked Harada to ask Sakurai to add Goku to Smash, and he said, no, I'm gonna get him to add Kazuya to spite you. So 2 years later, here we are. Whether this interaction is true and actually happened or not, I don't know for sure, but hilarious if it was, as Harada straight up told them he'd ask for Kazuya to be the Tekken character, and like they said, 2 years later, here we are, Kazuya actually in Smash. So maybe at the Sakurai Presents, Sakurai will mention how Harada wanted Kazuya. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Kazuya or Heihachi, it's very cool to see another big fighting game franchise represented in Smash. And I'm super curious to see how Sakurai translates a 3D fighting game character from Tekken into Super Smash Bros. As a fighter. And because it took me so long to get this video out, we do not have to wait much longer here. Mr. Sakurai Presents Kazuya is Monday, June 28th at 7 a.m. PT, that's 10 a.m. for me, and I'll stream the event if anyone wants to watch alongside with me. Nintendo of America tweeted out, tune in on 6/28 at 7 a.m. PT for a deeper look at the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter, Kazuya Mishima, with director Masahiro Sakurai. He will also reveal the fighter's release date. The presentation will be roughly 40 minutes long and will not include any reveals for Challenger Pack 11. So first off, that part about revealing the release date for the fighter, we actually have a pretty good guess at that one already. We have future maintenance scheduled for 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday, June 28th PT, so very likely Kazuya will be released the night of the Sakurai presentation, and that's what that scheduled maintenance is for. Also, on June 24th, Smash Bros. JP Twitter wrote, update data version 12.0 will be delivered in the near future. So version 12.0 is coming out in the near future. So again, very likely Kazuya will be released the day of the Sakurai presentation, or extremely close to it anyway. Now the other part of what Nintendo of America wrote here in that tweet is interesting as well. See, in the past they've written, there will be no further new fighter announcements. But this time they specifically say will not include any reveals for Challenger Pack 11. They very specifically say Challenger Pack 11 here instead of some future fighters or fighter announcement or something. So there are basically two reasons I could see why they changed the way they said it this time. And I'll start with the far less likely, but much more tinfoil hat, hyped up, out there, exciting theory. Maybe there won't be an announcement for Challenger Pack 11, but there could be an announcement for some other fighter instead. Maybe an announcement for some further fighter outside of Fighter Pass 2. Maybe fighters outside of Fighter Pass 2. Maybe a Fighter Pass 3 announcement. Now again, this is not very likely to happen at all, but I'm just speculating why they maybe changed the wording here. We've been told time and time again this is the end for Smash Fighters. But hey, if there was a time to announce something more happening, I suppose during the penultimate fighter presentation might be the right time to do so. Though actually the best idea I've heard for the possibility of actually getting a fighter other than Challenger Pack 11 revealed during this Sakurai presentation was a theory Recliner Rob sent me on Discord. Hey Papa, I think I may have found something interesting. I've been hearing a lot of talk about why Kazuya was chosen to be in Smash instead of Jin. And subsequently, I've been hearing a lot about a potential Echo fighter. I think we might see it in the Sakurai Presents. If you compare the two Facebook posts from Nintendo from when they promoted the Sakurai Presents for Pyra and Mithra to when they promoted Kazuya, the wording is different. In Pyra and Mithra's, and if I recall correctly, all prior characters too, promotion, it says that no further character announcements will be made. In Kazuya's promotion, it says no further information specifically on Challenger Pack 11 will be made. So this is a pretty cool idea. Maybe they specified Challenger Pack 11 because Kazuya will be getting an Echo fighter, and there will be an announcement of a new character, sort of an Echo character, during the presentation. Jin knows the Mishima fighting style, though he renounced it. He does occasionally still use it under special circumstances though. And Jin has the Devil gene, so Devil Jin exists. So from what we've seen of Kazuya, Jin could potentially work as an Echo. He could have the Devil transformations, he could fight a similar style as Kazuya and work as an Echo. Of course, the far more likely reason they specifically said Challenger Pack 11 here was to carefully not use any plurals that would make anyone believe more fighters were happening at all. While I am still skeptical of the whole URL website theory thing, and I do think something purchasable will occupy that URL spot before the end of all this, Whether it's a secret fighter or something else entirely remains to be seen. And we really should only expect one more fighter here. We'll have to see how Sakurai ends the Kazuya presentation and how we're set up for the final character reveal, but at this point, I don't think anyone can complain about the amount of characters we have in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There are a ton. If we only get one more, that's still a huge amount of characters that we got. Alright, so now let's talk about some other Smash stuff that's happened outside of Kazuya's reveal itself and the upcoming Sakurai presentation. The Spirit event we got right after Kazuya's reveal was hilariously a father and son themed Spirit event. Let's Play with My Father will be held for 3 days from 6/18 Friday. A lot of father character spirits appear on the spirits board. If you win the battle, you will get more SP than usual. If you're even the tiniest bit at all aware of the Mishima family history and the relationships between fathers and sons going on there, then this spirit event happening during Kazuya's reveal was pretty funny. Not only does it fit well during Father's Day, but it also fits right after Kazuya's reveal. I particularly like the picture of Ness with his dad, the telephone. Kevin Fagarigan sent me something interesting that they noticed about this Spirit event. Hey again, Papa, I don't like to overanalyze too much, but this Father's Day Spirit event is showcasing different father figures is rather strange to me. All the ones featured here are from series with fighters, except for one, the Munchie Monk from Rhythm Heaven. Haven't had something like this since the sneaky spirit enemies from Smash Run. Would like to know your thoughts on this. So that's pretty intriguing, kind of suspicious if you ask me. And it's true, all these pictures are from series that have characters playable in Smash except for Rhythm Heaven. Considering how this entire second pass has been characters considered for Smash in the past, ARMS and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Sakurai said were just a little too late to make base game. Steve took 5 years from negotiations to get in Smash. And Sephiroth brought in Final Fantasy VII content as DLC that seemed sort of absent with Cloud. And now, Kazuya being a Tekken character, which Sakurai has mentioned being something he wanted to do in Smash 4, but couldn't come up with a way to get the movement to work, is once again another character, or at least series, that Sakurai planned to do in the past, but wasn't able to, and is using this pass to now sort of fill that out. So it's certainly worth paying attention to other characters that almost made it into Smash before in the past. Especially now that Kazuya and a Tekken rep show that those considered characters don't just have to be characters that were considered for Smash Ultimate, but can also include characters considered for past Smash games, such as a Tekken rep being considered for Smash 4. And specifically thinking about Smash 4, that puts Rhythm Heaven at the top of the list of fighters that almost happened, if you ask me. There is a ton of evidence a Rhythm Heaven rep nearly made it into Smash 4. A Rhythm Heaven rep is the only Gamatsu leak character yet to appear playable in Smash at this point. And the Gamatsu leak was likely just slightly dated roster information for Smash 4, but does appear to be real. Rhythm Heaven has some data in Smash 4 that makes it seem like it probably had a playable fighter at some point, and it was the only series that has an enemy in Smash Run, but no playable fighter in Smash 4. It truly seems Rhythm Heaven was at one point planned to get a fighter in Smash Bros. Specifically, the Chorus Kids supposedly were who that character was going to be. Of course, getting some sort of multi-character to work might not happen for Smash Ultimate DLC. Sakurai already stated that Rex and Pyra, or Rex and Mithra, was a character they considered, but it was tough to get another Ice Climbers-like character to work. So maybe the Chorus Kids wouldn't be who our Rhythm Heaven rep would be. But hey, instead of Heihachi, we just got Kazuya, so switching characters from a series that maybe fits better in Smash Ultimate is something Sakurai could do. He's not opposed to doing that, clearly. So could a Rhythm Heaven character end up as our final fighter for this pass? Another character that almost got into Smash Bros. Before in the past. Possibly. I've mentioned before how I always thought a second Namco rep could be the final fighter, or at least the final third-party fighter. Namco works on Smash Ultimate directly, so potentially Namco might purposefully go last, working on other third-party company fighters first and saving working on a fighter from their series until the end. Maybe as some sort of modesty thing, putting others ahead of their own game series, or just out of practicality, making sure they get the other fighters done to appease the other companies and honor the deals and negotiations and stuff that they made with those companies in a timely fashion. With Namco making Smash itself, the company Namco isn't going to be wondering when their character they negotiated for is getting revealed in Smash, and they're going to start making money off of that. I think they can sit on the sideline and, again, wait until the end. Whatever the case, though, that's always been a thought in my mind. The final third-party fighter might be a Namco rep, saved for last. And now with E3 behind us, you could also argue they'd potentially do the last hype third-party fighter at E3. If there was a more hyped third-party fighter, especially one that would appeal to like Western audiences, E3 probably would have been the time to reveal that. So whoever is remaining, whoever is Challenger Pack 11, might be seen as less hype than Kazuya, and thus Kazuya took the E3 spot. And that might possibly mean a first-party character. Again, if potentially Namco saved their fighter as the final third-party fighter, then what remains would either be another Namco character or a first-party character, if you follow that train of thought. Obviously, this is theoretical, so of course the last fighter could be some other third party. But there is some definite merit to thinking this could be it for third-party fighters after E3. So something like a first-party character with a series like Rhythm Heaven getting the final DLC spot in this fighter pass is entirely possible, and again fits the theme of characters that were once considered for Super Smash Bros. In the past. Of course, there are lots of other almost characters, and other first-party almost fighters as well. Ayumi Tachibana was considered for Melee, and the big hurdle was that her games were never localized in the West. And now her games just got localized in the West. Dixie Kong and Toon Zelda nearly made it into Brawl. I doubt we'd get Toon Zelda these days, but in a similar fashion to Heihachi being considered, and us instead getting Kazuya now, maybe Breath of the Wild Zelda or the Champions from Breath of the Wild 2 could fill that sort of Toon Zelda spot that was once considered. Again, if we do end on a first-party rep here. And I will talk a bit more about the Champions and a Breath of the Wild 2 rep a bit later on in this video. Decidueye, a Pokemon character, and Alucard, a Konami Castlevania character, are two characters Sakurai said he almost chose for Smash Ultimate. However, Alucard became an assist trophy, and the Belmonts were chosen as the playable fighters. And Incineroar won out over Decidueye as our Pokemon rep. Not sure if characters like Decidueye and Alucard count the same as characters from things that didn't get a rep at all, considering someone else was chosen instead of them. Not so much that their games didn't make the cut for Smash as playable. Their games did make the cut, they just chose someone else. And if we're considering third-party characters that were almost in Smash, there's even Geno. And while after the Mii costume, I doubt he's going to happen, considering the Heihachi Mii costume might have purposefully been released early with Min Min to throw us off the trail of Tekken getting a fighter, while I'm not holding out hope for Geno, it is slightly more plausible now that the Geno Mii could actually be a distraction so that we're surprised by Geno at the end or something. Though I still think selling us the Geno Mii before revealing the fighter is a very unlike Sakurai thing to do. And while we did get a Tekken fighter, we didn't get Heihachi himself upgraded from the Mii costume. They didn't take the Heihachi Mii and simply give us a playable Heihachi as well. They chose another character. Mellow, anyone? I'm just kidding. We've seen this happen a couple times now, though. A character already repped in Smash gets a different character from that series as a playable fighter in Pass 2. Rex gets Pyra and Mithra, Springman gets Min Min, and now Heihachi gets Kazuya. Although all that said, it does seem like every time we get a new fighter, it breaks some fan rule. So maybe an actual upgraded Mii or upgraded assist trophy character could happen before the end of all this. And honestly, Tekken getting in Smash, despite the whole series being thought to be deconfirmed by the Heihachi Mii costume, throws a lot of how we tend to speculate Smash completely out the window now. You would assume they'd have saved Heihachi's Mii for when a Tekken rep happened, but they didn't do that. So all conventional thinking is basically gone for this final character. It may legitimately be impossible to rule anything out for the final spot, considering what just happened with the Tekken series. So while, of course, with only one spot left, that means only one more character will actually happen here, and so most characters will still not happen, and many fan rules will seemingly remain intact by the end, claiming characters can't happen because of Miis, or spirits, spirit events, assist trophies, etc., or really banking on anything counting out a character at this point, is probably a foolish way to be thinking, as we've seen time and time again how easily we can get blindsided by holding on to these fan concepts for what we can and can't get. And in the end, they simply don't seem to matter at all to what characters Sakurai, Nintendo, and the Smash team end up giving us. We do have some new theories currently going around, or rather some of them old theories popping up again. I've seen a lot of people making color theories after Kazuya. Basically, generally people are pointing out that the colors of the first pass plus Piranha Plant match fairly closely with the general color scheme of the second pass, leaving purple as possibly the final color for the last character. I personally try not to read too much into any pattern theories, as even if they come true, they're probably coincidental, and the fighters are definitely not chosen in order to fit some patterns. So if the last character has a purple background, I don't think they were chosen because they had a purple background and it would match the first pass. So it's really hard to guess at who that would be anyway. I've also seen people talking about voice theory again. However, upon looking more into that theory, at first it sounded as though people were saying there were a certain number of voice spots in the code for Smash Ultimate. I'm pretty sure what voice theory was actually about, just sort of vaguely worded when I first read about it, is just about making a perfectly squared off voice select screen. I don't think there's actually spots in the code, like a specific amount of code spots for voices. It's literally just making the voice select screen square. And I don't think they care that much about making the voice screen a squared off select screen. If they do care about perfectly squaring off the voice select screen though, then Kazuya takes the final voice spot after Sephiroth brought in Advent Cloud, and Pyra and Mithra had separate voices each, so the final fighter would have to be silent if you're subscribing to voice theory. But again, I think it's just squaring off the voice select screen, and considering the stage select and character select probably aren't going to be squared off, I doubt that's a big thing the Smash team is shooting for. Also, someone noticed the tree behind Sakurai is different, though I think theorizing about stuff like that is literally chair theory territory. One very solid and consistent thing we've been using to speculate stuff correctly, though, is the numbering of the events that we get on that one website that hosts all of the Smash event data and numbers and categorizes the image URLs. We got a new exclusive Nintendo Switch Online member offer for Smash, and guess what? Its numbering is out of order. Hello, I wanted to tell you that Kazuya is most likely coming with 6 Mii costumes. There's some skipped items again, and the newest event is 2141. It skipped around 10 events. This is how it would usually be filled up, and then they show a big list of all the stuff and showing that there'd be a bunch of blank spots for 6 Mii costumes. Of course, something like a Sephiroth challenge or the special Spirit event for Persona 5 Strikers could happen and occupy some of these updated items. So this has actually been consistently correct, although guessing what the blank spots are, guessing that they're Mii costumes, isn't always right. For instance, in the past, we thought that Sephiroth wouldn't have very many Miis, but the Sephiroth challenge showed up and actually skewed where the Mii costumes would actually be numbered. And then with Pyra and Mithra, we had the Sophia and Arthur spirits show up, and once again, the number of spots we had was correct, but we didn't guess at them correctly. We thought they'd all be Mii costumes, and they actually had a couple spirits in there. Still, 6 blank spots could mean 6 Mii costumes, so hopefully we get a good amount of Mii costumes here. I'd love to get another deluxe Mii as well, as it's been a while since we've actually gotten one of those. Though I'm aware calling them deluxe Miis and addressing them differently than the other Miis is fan terminology, so giving us more of them might not be even a thought to Sakurai and his team. They might consider all Miis equal, even though I think all of us find those deluxe Miis much better. As for Mii costumes I'd really love to see with Kazuya, here are 2 mock-ups I saved that I saw people posting in my Discord as possibilities. I definitely think the Lloyd Mii costume is returning with Kazuya, and as for the rest, I'd love to get Yoshimitsu specifically. He's just a character I love from Tekken and Soul Calibur. But there are tons of cool Namco possibilities. Specifically, I'd love to get stuff from Tales of, Soul Calibur, and Dark Souls. That'd be neat to get here. And of course, Tekken characters would also be cool. Someone like King I think would make a really good Mii costume. That's a very recognizable character. If somehow the Lloyd Mii costume doesn't return here, I don't even know what to think. Maybe a Tales of rep would end up being last. Of course, apparently, even if Lloyd's Mii does show up, considering what happened with the Heihachi Mii, could we even rule out a Tales Up rep being the last character now? Speculation is truly in the dark after Kazuya. Speaking of being unable to tell what confirms or deconfirms a character, we got another Spirit event this week, a Sonic-themed Spirit event for the 30th anniversary. Does this count out a Sonic rep? Again, who knows with this last fighter. Anyway, the image Sakurai prematurely had posted a while back for Sonic's 30th anniversary has now been reposted. Alright, now I know this one's a bit of an elephant in the room, and people really want me to talk about it, so here we go. What the heck was going on with Vergiben's Master Chief leak right before E3? As clearly we did not get Master Chief at E3. I'm going to go over this as sort of a timeline of events, as I think that's the best way for people to make sense of what probably went on here. In the middle of the night before E3, basically the early hours of the morning really, a Twitter user called Nikki, who has a history of data mining, posted this tweet with some code strings. To be honest, I'm not even totally clear if these strings are codes they made up to hide information they supposedly had, which could then be decoded afterwards to prove they had that information, or if these were actual codes they gathered from somewhere, like an official website or something. SHA-1 codes are used to keep secure data secret, so maybe these were some codes they got from somewhere that supposedly had to do with Nintendo's E3 Direct. And they had yet to be deciphered. Regardless, though, they posted these codes and are apparently a known data miner with some credibility, I guess, as people were believing whatever they were posting was going to be actually real information for E3. Nikki had their Twitter account private, though, so only some people even saw this, but it soon exploded onto the rest of the internet. People ended up deciphering some of the codes just by kind of brute forcing their way through the code. And I saw it was mostly being talked about on Reset Era, with seemingly a lot of people on there believing this Nikki person could have real information. What people had decoded from this was Metroid 5 and Master Chief. So suddenly the rumor was Master Chief might be the Smash fighter. Actually, the buzz in the lead up to E3 seemed to be it could be two fighters maybe, or that the final two might actually be known now. The idea of Master Champions being the final two started to spread. Basically, the champions from Zelda being a possible Smash character, and now Master Chief. Thinking the champions might be one of the final two characters was due to a post by Imran Khan and a Game Explained speculation video, among a bunch of other things. I did a whole video on that, so if you're curious why the champions were so speculated about right before E3, go watch that video. I still actually think a Breath of the Wild 2 character is a possible final character for Smash myself, especially if we get like a lot more Breath of the Wild 2 information revealed during some future Direct later this year. Like if there's a September Direct and they reveal a lot of Breath of the Wild 2 stuff. We really didn't get as much Breath of the Wild 2 stuff revealed during E3 as I thought we might, so having a character revealed when a lot of Breath of the Wild 2 information shows up, I think it's a possibility. Anyway, point is, before Vergeben posted anything, Master Chief and the champions were getting a ton of buzz as possibly the final two fighters. And Chief seemingly had some data mine associated with them, so a lot of people were seemingly very sure that Master Chief would be our Smash reveal. Then Vergeben went over on Reddit and posted a bunch of semi-cryptic predictions. Full Mercury steam ahead, the galaxy is at peace. Metroid 5 or Metroid Dread by Mercury System does fit this one. And we did get that, and it also fit for Nikki's code thing there. But that was also something that a lot of people had already been speculating about, a 2D Metroid game. Specifically from Mercury System. Go bananas, but don't forget a barrel. Most people assume this was probably Donkey Kong related, but we already had rumors about a Donkey Kong game possibly made by the Odyssey team, though we didn't see that at E3. Don't try so hard, remember to celebrate. Most people thought this was just celebrate Zelda's 35th anniversary, which was pretty obviously going to get mentioned at E3 anyway. And then finally, Cortana, tell me who's coming to Smash. Asking's not my strong suit. Which basically seemed to all but confirm Chief was going to be our Smash reveal. I went on Twitter and wrote a warning for people who didn't want to get spoiled. After all, Vergeben has been very solid with Smash characters. His track record at that point was extremely good. I just assumed the character had leaked. Then in the comments of Vergeben's Reddit post, he proceeded to quote, "We are the champions," which made the idea of Master Chief and the Breath of the Wild champions being our final two seem even more likely. To the point where I totally expected this was probably our final two characters in the hour or so leading up to Nintendo's E3. I wasn't sure if both would get shown off there, but I really thought that was probably the end of Smash Ultimate. Basically, only Metroid 5 turned out to be true, and everyone was left wondering what the heck happened here. Well, luckily, Vergeben has now made a statement on the matter, and here's what they said. Update on things. I cut ties with one of my oldest sources. Ever since last year and the state of the world with work at home orders and digital events, their information has gotten spottier and spottier. There's a lot of things that I've never shared with anyone the source that I have parted with had heard. Things that I vetted and got either nothing back or that it wasn't quite right or plain wrong. It had become a game of me having to mentally decide if anything is at all worth talking about or not. Hence why you might have noticed why I wasn't sharing some crazy amount of information last year. Yes, they still were getting things right, but the percentage of things that were wrong were so much higher. For example, the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin information and Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster info came from them, and neither were spot on since there was slightly incorrect information about both. I'm not sure if things were lost in translation or what, but I couldn't overlook that. On the topic of Smash DLC, I reserve my right to not comment on that at the moment anyway. Clearly, Master Chief was not the next character, it was Kazuya. The source that I split with was certain it was him after I checked with them who it was. I couldn't get back with my main source in time, and they actually never wound up hearing who it was anyway. So I hedged my bets and lost. That's on me. I should have remained silent. Me referencing and joking around with some commenter on here referencing lyrics from We Are the Champions was me having fun, to be honest, since it fit as a response after I got a rude comment and people were taking a Game Explain video as gospel that the champions for Breath of the Wild were next, and I hadn't heard that whatsoever, so I probably should have left well enough alone there, but I did not, and I know people took that the wrong way. That's the strangest paragraph in here, in my opinion. He's basically saying he thought it was funny that people found the Game Explain video to be gospel that the characters were going to be in Smash, yet he made a reference to it as a joke because he didn't think it would happen. It just doesn't make any sense. Feels very retroactively kind of covering their tracks here. As for the Zelda post, don't try too hard, remember to celebrate, was referring to how there wasn't going to be crazy Zelda announcements in the Direct, nor a lot of them. Those gifs of a chameleon and Owl were referencing Breath of the Wild sequel and Age of Calamity DLC. Metroid 5, Metroid Dread was obviously revealed, so I don't have to say much there. It looks cool, and I talked about that years ago, even revealing that Mercury System was doing it, so it was nice to finally see it revealed. There is a new Donkey Kong game in development, but that obviously did not show up either. Amusingly, we got some Super Monkey Ball, though. So yeah, their banana comment sort of fit for Monkey Ball, but that wasn't what they were actually predicting here or leaking here. It's the Donkey Kong game. That's it from me for the moment about that. I just wanted to provide people with an update. So there you go. That's Vergiben's statement about this one. Personally, in my opinion, it feels like either they or the source they mention here saw the Master Chief Nikki stuff floating around like Reset Era and took it all to be legitimate, and Vergiben jumped on the bandwagon and jumped the gun making a bunch of Reddit posts. Basically, if you add in the Nikki code stuff for Master Chief, then everything Vergiben had posted about on Reddit was stuff that was already leaked or talked about by someone else. So it really feels like either Vergiben's source or Vergiben themselves was just piggybacking here. What's up with the Nikki code stuff, though? I have no idea. I don't know that person well enough. I don't know their history or anything. I don't know why everyone was believing it to begin with. Does Vergiben still back Master Chief? It doesn't sound like it from what their post says, but they're also reserving the right to go too in-depth about Smash stuff. Sort of feels like they're hedging their bet, and hey, if Master Chief is last, they'll be able to take credit for it, but doesn't seem like they actually really back it now. It doesn't seem like that leak they are confident in, if it was even a leak to begin with, or if it was just their source, or even them bandwagoning on what everybody else was already talking about. This all feels very piggybacking, because most of the stuff here, Metroid 5, Donkey Kong game, Zelda, it was all stuff I think people expected here, or was already leaked, and then the Master Chief stuff was just all the speculation happening in the hours beforehand. So yeah, in my opinion, this feels very piggybacking. Whether that was Vergiben or their source, I don't know, but it feels like somebody piggybacked. I will say, though, their Smash character info has sometimes simply had the timing off. Basically, every character they said will happen has happened eventually. Erdrick was said to be our first Fighter Pass 1 character, but we got Joker instead, but then Hero came later, which, is basically Erdrick. And of course, the Minecraft content in Smash took a long time, but eventually it did happen. So could Chief actually be in Smash happening later on? Maybe, but it doesn't sound like Vergiben has that much faith in this all panning out. It really feels like he's just hedging his bets so hard here in every way possible. He left sort of vague statements. He's now kind of having to backtrack and explain the statements, and it just all sounds to me like it was piggybacking. But hey, that's just my opinion on it. Make whatever opinion you want. Vergiben has been pretty consistent with Smash characters, so if you want to believe the Master Chief thing will eventually pan out here, and Vergiben's information is just sometimes not right with the timing for when the character gets revealed, by all means believe that. Personally, though, I think Chief is possible, but I don't think this Vergiben leak was actually a leak this time. I think it was bad information either from a bad source that was piggybacking, or Vergiben himself was piggybacking off of everything that was being said beforehand for some final clout. That's just how I feel about it personally. Anyway, shortly after all this Master Chief hype in the build-up to E3, Brian Gerard, a community director at 343 Industries, said, "As a longtime fan of both games, it would be amazing to have a Chief Smash announcement today. Nothing is happening that I'm aware of, but maybe momentum this week can open a door. If you agree, maybe we can politely express our excitement to Xbox and the true Bowser." Which sounds like, at the very least, if Chief is happening, they aren't aware of it. We did have a Mojang employee not know about Steve in the past, so yeah, completely possible Chief could still be happening, and this community director simply is not aware of it. So at the end of the day, could Master Chief still be our final character and finish the fight? Totally possible. Maybe they do want to end Smash on a bang, Maybe they plan to announce Master Chief alongside a Master Chief collection for Switch, or Game Pass coming to Switch, or something happening in some future Nintendo Direct towards the end of the year or something. Maybe they want Master Chief for Smash to release closer to the release of Halo Infinite to tie into that. That's a possibility as well. But I also wouldn't count on Master Chief happening. Like I said before, there's certainly some logic to having the last big third-party rep happen at E3. So we might be at the end of Smash having any more big third-party reveals. But it's entirely uncertain right now. You could look at it the other way, which is honestly very exciting for the ending, but it's also a bit dangerous where you set your expectations going forward for this final character. Also, when Challenger Pack 11 will actually show up is unknown. Maybe Sakurai will help narrow it down in the presentation. We've been told all of Fighter Pass 2 DLC will be done by December 2021. But will it actually take that long now? That's like 6 months away. Will they save the final reveal until like the Game Awards or Smash Ultimate's anniversary? I kind of hope not. Luckily, I think it's more likely we'll simply see the next final Smash character during like a September or October Nintendo Direct. Or a separate Sakurai Smash Ultimate ending celebration video where he reveals and presents the fighter all in one. Who knows? There are some big stuff happening towards the end of the year, so yeah, a big hype third-party character could still coincide with something. The 25th anniversary of Crash is actually in September. Halo Infinite is happening later this year. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is in November. There's plenty of cool third-party characters and stuff that could show up, and it could make sense why they didn't happen at E3. Though again, it feels equally likely that we end Smash Ultimate off on kind of a whimper, and we shouldn't expect anything too big out of the ending here. It might just be a first-party character, it might just be something not that hype, and that's why they've kind of saved it for the end after E3. You decide what you think is likely, because I'm honestly pretty torn on whether or not it's going to end with something big or something considered not as hype, like a first-party character. I really don't know. Like I've said many times before in this video, it seems nearly impossible to speculate the last fighter clearly after Kazuya. The Heihachi Mii costume, by all logic, should have been saved for Kazuya, but it wasn't. So how can we use any evidence to really guess at the final character now? Whether or not Lloyd's Mii costume returns is a Tales of character any more or any less likely after that, it's kind of unknowable. Is the Geno Mii costume also just a clever trick like the Heihachi Mii returning? So no one expects that Geno will be the final character? That's super hype for me, but I don't like expecting that at all. Are the Capcom Miis we got with Pyra and Mithra indicative of a Capcom fighter? Like Dante could still happen in this pass? Or is Capcom out because of those Mii costumes? Is a Monster Hunter character even out of the running anymore because we got a Tekken rep despite having a Tekken Mii costume? Could Resident Evil get a rep despite having that Spirit event? We didn't get Claire Redfield. Maybe she's being held off as a character. It's all just so impossible to guess at, so speculation is going to be really strange going forward. I think any guesses we have or anything we've been using to narrow down characters will have to have a figurative asterisk next to it, and maybe they'll simply completely pull the rug out from under us, and whatever we're expecting or banking on or evidence we're using to consider who the last fighter might be is probably out the window now. Alright, well I feel like I'm just ranting now. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about in this video. WarioWare did end up costing $49.99, and I guess also go try out Neo The World Ends With You. That game has a demo right now, and The World Ends With You is an awesome game, and I guess game series now. Check it out. Alright, well if you guys have any thoughts or comments about anything I talked about in this video, leave them below, and I will be streaming the Sakurai Presents on Monday, so feel free to watch alongside with me. I'll see you guys there.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to PapaGenos!
Twitter, Patreon, Discord.